everyone. Welcome to our Toastmasters meeting for this week. I do want to have a couple of quick announcements at the beginning. I think we're all aware that there is a fall contest coming up, both for humorous speaking and for table topics. So if you've thought about participating, that's fabulous. We'd love to have as many participants as we can. Please let Kaylee or Dr. Roche know if you'd like to participate. And if you maybe aren't up to participating, if you'd be willing to fill a role. Let the folks know so that they can start to fill in those gaps. One other thing, we're asking for folks to bring in the Toastmaster magazine, so if you have a couple of those laying around at home extras, we'll use those to fill into our new member packets. So if you want to bring a supply of that in, that's got a big...
Right, I think we already had it.
Oh, you do have a few already? Well, we can still use...
Yeah, we can still use from the last time to the box.
Oh, there's a few more left in there. Great. Okay. Well, if you've got some at home, we're happy to take them in. I think no pile is too small. So we'll take them if you're ready to get rid of them. All right. I think with that, we will start with our meeting today. We've got a couple of folks who stacked up on roles. So Joe or Ash, if you're maybe willing to relieve Chris of one of his responsibilities, I'll let you take care of that. In the meantime, we will ask our grammarian to come up and give us the word of the day. We can probably skip the other details. Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guest who has just entered the room. Jean, welcome. The word, I'm your grammarian today, and the word of the day is tenacious.
So do you have any?
Which means holding fast.
Any other roles today?
The dog in a tenacious hold on the child's arm. You would like to use the word in a sentence, or one needs to be tenacious to become really good at becoming excellent speech writer. Since we do have a guest, I will also say the grammarian, I will be listening for ahs and ums and words that, like I just said, words that link phrases together, and for colorful phrases of speech. Thank you all.
Okay.
All right, we are being tenacious and holding fast to our schedule today. At the end of the meeting, we'll have officer installation, so we want to make sure we have about 7 minutes for that at the end. So keep that in mind. In essence of that, I think we're going to skip the timer introduction of that role, and we'll jump right into our first speaker. Karatha is going to be giving a speech today, ranging 5 to 7 minutes. The objective is a humorous speech. The title, What is Emergency? Is it all about perspective? And welcome, Karatha.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests today. I've just finished my advanced communication manual, and I still haven't given any speech here for a while. And thought I should seize this opportunity today to keep practicing, because it's all about practicing. So came up with something that I think you might find it a little bit funny. So to begin it, could somebody give me their own definition of emergency? What is emergency to any one of you? What does emergency mean to you? You need help? Yes. Anybody else?
A disaster.
A disaster? Excellent.
Something that requires immediate attention.
Immediate attention? Yes, I agree.
You have to go there because urgent care is closed.
You have to go there. Excellent, excellent. It's all emergency. So it looks like everybody has a different perspective on what is emergency. Anybody else now? Ready?
Something you're not prepared for.
Something you're not prepared for. Excellent. Well, I had an emergency 3 years ago. My daughter, who was 4 years dead, woke up early in the morning, and we just went to a water park and came back. A week later, she woke up early in the morning, and the first thing she asked was to go to the water park. I woke up early in the morning, I was in the basement, and it was soccer season. It's my crazy time, sitting in the basement, cannot even take breakfast because there's this match that I'm just so anxious to see it. Anytime my team is playing Arsenal, I just cannot eat. The only thing I can drink is coffee. So, and I heard a lot of conversation going upstairs. And it was my wife and my daughter fighting. Angela got up, she said, "Mommy, I need to go to a new water park. Bring me to a new water park." Wait a minute, Angela, I don't know any water. "Mommy, I want to go to a new water park." It's like, Angela, I don't know any other new water park to bring you. She grabbed the phone. "I need the police number." "Angela, what do you need the police number for?" "I'm going to call the police." "We don't call the police until it's an emergency." "This is emergency for me." "No, it is emergency. Give me the phone number." And she was so tenacious. "Give me the phone number." I was like, what's going on? You know? And then she walked the basement. "Daddy, I need the police number." It's like, why? "Mommy wouldn't you bring me to a water park." Wait a minute, Anya. You want to call the police? Mommy wouldn't bring me to a water park. "Yes. Please give me the phone number." It's like, okay. Why do you want to go to the water park? "Because I want to go back." It's like, okay, but we don't call. I need to call the police. It's like, Angela, we don't call the police until it's something that is emergency. This is emergency for me. Like, okay. So, well, this is where Toastmaster comes in. I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of improper here. And you think fast. "Oh, okay, sure." It's like, wait a minute. Put up, got a phone number. Got my friend's phone number in Montreal. It's like, here. Early 6 in the morning, it's like, here's the police now. So she went to dial. Phone was ringing. So this was like, "Daddy, the police are not picking up the phone." It's like, Angela, it's Saturday today. See, Daddy didn't go to work today. "Oh, police don't work Saturday?" I say, "Yeah, they work on Saturday." Okay. Hung up. She went back up, went to eat, and that was the end of story. Thank you.
Very nice. Right, you see, all about perspective, very true. Let's take a minute to fill out our evaluation forms first.
Yeah, 1 minute up.
Our second speaker today is Dr. Ahmed Gauch. The title of his speech, "A Fish in Water, My Toastmaster Experience." He's working in the CC manual. This is his third speech. Get to the point in his 6 to 8 minutes. Dr. Ahmed Gauch.
So I've changed the structure of my speech a bit. Joe said that I never tell what the point of my speech is till I'm half through. So I'm going to talk about how I think and decide about giving a speech. So my main focus would be how I do that and what are the specific points I take into account. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and most distinguished guests. Long ago, when I was in my MBA, my speeches, which happened when I was presenting PowerPoint slides, were punctuated by ahs and ums. Seated in the audience was my very good fellow Toastmaster whom I didn't know, who suggested, Rick Arian suggested, he said, I have a plan for you. When you finish your MBA, I'm going to take you to an organization. We can clear that up. We can knock your ahs and ums right off the ballpark. In fact, we can make you so good, you will be amazed. I said, really, what's that? He said, Toastmasters. I said, what do they toast, bread? So he introduced me to the Chambers Toastmaster. My first visit to the Toastmaster was what I was looking for. I was like a fish searching for water. And they provided me a whole pond. And now 2 years later, I am ready for the ocean. So people keep asking, how do I give a speech? What are the 3 components for a speech? First, as you can see from me, you've got to have passion. Nobody wants to see a person who is not entertaining or lacks passion. You've got to have passion. And you have to know the subject. You knew the subject you were talking about, you knew your daughter and what she wanted. And the third, you need to find out what appeals to the audience. So when these 3 circles intersect at a point, you got a topic. The second question I'm often asked is, where do you get topics? Well, anything tenacious which grabs your attention, like what happened in Carafa's case, an emergency. Something which it knocks you off the railing. You wanted to go here, it just knocks you off. Something which changes your way of thinking. These are topics. When I'm walking in the street, there are topics hanging all over. You got to look below the surface. You have a topic. Did something impress you? Did something make you passionate? Did something change your way of thinking? You have a topic. Now, having said that, then I get to sit back and say, how do I write and gather these ideas? That's the toughest part. It's a flurry of activity which occurs. Take a piece of paper, make it almost like a painting. I've got a speech, I've got the surface area. This has to last for 7 minutes. The first minute, I grab your attention, which I try to do. Then I say my respects, pay my respects to the Toastmaster. Then I got the body out here, which I say what I want to say and how I want to say, and I introduce probably 3 or 4 points. And the last minute I have to summarize it. And then I crack some jokes. Punctuating. I told my mentor, you know what happened recently? He said, what? He said, I was voted the Toastmaster of the Year for District 6. He says, good, now I know you have some potential. Then it comes like when you're grabbing this idea, sometimes I get up in the middle of the night. It has happened 2 times, not many. Don't think I'm crazy. I have a book and I write down crazily whatever comes. Just write it down. It might not make sense, write it down. Otherwise that moment of passion will leave you. You'll never get it back. Commit yourself, write it down. Then comes the tough job of writing your speech. Will you follow this pattern? Follow its structure. For a 7-minute talk, 700 words. Write it down. So even for this talk, I wrote it down. I have this, I have everything in which I'm talking about here, I have written it down. After I write it down, I tape it. I put it in my iPad or iPod. Why? I can listen to it. When I listen to it, I said, if I sound so boring on the tape, who is going to listen to me? If this does not make sense, what does it make sense? So I write it down, I tape it, and I change my writing based on what I hear. If it doesn't make sense here, it's not going to make there. So I change it, I revise it. And I have got Bluetooth in my car now. So I can listen to this in my 15-minute journey from my home to work 3 times. I get it knocked off. So your taped message should be at least 5 minutes or 4 minutes, 50 cents. or 4 minutes, 30 seconds to have a 7-minute talk. So that I do it. Then comes the important, once you've done that, you've memorized it, then it's a tough job of visualizing where you're going to talk. I know this audience. When you go into a competition, it will be a new room. Try to go there or visualize it if you've gone there earlier, where you're going to stand, how the audience is going to look like. When I went to the district level, I met a speaker, he said, she goes a step further. She says she practices speaking to empty chairs in her house where she tapes these pictures. This is Happy Joe. This is Mr. Angry Charles. This is Depressed Anne. And she pays it and she talks with them like that. And once she does that, she gets the confidence. She says, it helps us. It really helps doing that. I've done that. My wife thought I was crazy. I did it a couple of times. It helps. Right now, I don't need any stuffed tomato or potato or anything to excite me. I know that. Day of the meeting. Important. Go early. Meet the people you're talking with. You might meet a big celebrity, Jane Person. You won't know it. Shake her hand. Ask her. Ask her. Karafa. Oh, you got a daughter 4 years old in Toronto. Use the names you learn. Use the people you learn. The names, use them in your speech. Like the word of the day, tenacious. Remove tenacious and put Karafa, like I put 2 times in my speech already. They love you. Everybody loves you. Maybe if somebody's sitting in the back, like Tanya, I use her name. She loves me. I used her name. Do not forget these tricks. It's not a trick, it works. If you aren't me, having me in my speech, if you aren't punctuated my name in my 7 minutes, nah, I'm not even interested in hearing what you say. Then comes the final role, my fish in the water experience. Why? Like a fish, I go day in, day out, wake in, wake out. My friends, my colleagues in medicine think I'm crazy because I don't want to hear their speeches. They hear speeches are heavy in content, very low in empathy, compassion, human stories, and the stories which I now excel in and try to master. What makes a doctor? How did that happen before they came to you and you used that medicine? Why did they come? That's your Toastmaster talk. That's your speech. That's your exciting thing. You might do anything. You might be in logistics. You might be in any kind of program. How did you get to make that program? That's your story. Toastmaster allows me to do that. Weekend, weekday, everybody gives me a check on my attitude, my vocal variety, my gestures. And if you want to do everything in a hurry, want to learn speed track, go to one of the district meetings and meet some members who are more passionate than you, crazier than you. That will speed up your learning process. So ladies and gentlemen, visualizing the talk, gathering your talk, gathering the points, thinking about your speech as a painting, punctuating it with people who are there, it will make you like I am, joining me in the fish as we go towards the ocean. Madam Toastmaster.
We will again take a moment, a minute, and fill out your evaluations for our second speaker today. excited. We're doing very well on time, and I cannot wait to hear the topics that Kaylee has prepared for us today. Please help me welcome Kaylee, who will lead us into the topics.
I'm not so prepared today, so I'm glad we have handy dandy topics in that box. All right, I'm going to just have it be a volunteer day, and if no one volunteers, then I'll pick someone. So the first question that I have is, please describe your least favorite vacation trip and why. Amy.
I don't get to go on many vacations. So when I do go on a vacation, it's a big experience for me. The first time I went to New York City, by the way, I love New York City. That wasn't the problem. The problem was getting there. So at the time, it's my husband and I who are going to be traveling to New York City. And we have my oldest son, who at that time was a younger child. He was staying with my parents in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And so I had that grand idea that we would go to La Crosse, spend the night at my parents', take an early flight from the La Crosse airport to Minneapolis, and from Minneapolis to New York City. Great plan, right? You got the kid with your grandparents, you get up early, get on your way. Well, what happened was a miscalculation on my part to think that I would be able to make it from my parents to the La Crosse airport and be able to check in and make that flight within a couple of hours. When I think Minneapolis, I think, yeah, you gotta go early, get prepared, get checked through, it's gonna take you a while. When I think small airport, I wasn't thinking of that in the same context. Well, as so it went, we didn't make the flight. We were standing at the desk waiting to check in, but the person who checks you in at the desk also works at security. So once they moved over there, you're out of luck. There's no check-in, and there was no automated check-in process at that time. So we stood at the desk, along with 10 other people, highly frustrated, watching the people who were smarter than I came early, check through. We did finally make it to New York, but rather than, I think it was a 2-day excursion, it ended up being more of a 1-day excursion. Plan ahead for a good vacation.
Which habit would you like to break? Chris is
Madam Staubach Master, fellow Toastmasters, the habit that I've been working on recently, and so that's why I thought it was a really good thing to be able to present to everybody, is basically paying attention, staying on track, not getting distracted. I'm a person that becomes distracted very easily. And I spend pretty much my entire day while I'm working here at work, and even working on some of my projects at home on the computer, right? And so you're always on the computer, and I love information. Like, I love pulling in all the information. I could read RSS feeds all day long, just because you're constantly learning, right? And I love to learn. But then learning gets turned into, oh, that's a neat topic, and I find myself all the time where I'll go through. The worst is if I browse through my Twitter feed at all. If I try and do that when I'm trying to do something else, I just lost at least 15 minutes. Because you find one topic, and then that thinks, oh yeah, and now I'm going to go look up that other thing. And you start looking into that other thing, and I'll find myself literally 15 minutes later sitting there and saying, how did I even get into reading about this? And then I'll follow my browser tabs usually back to the point, oh yeah, I was on Twitter. So for me, it's just trying to remove all of those things. Now, one of the things that I've actually done is removed on my phone. Yeah, you have access to all your different applications. I try and keep everything organized beyond the point. But so I have my social media links, and one of them was Facebook that I had on there. And I just took that, it's still on my phone, but I took the shortcut off of the home screen area, just because I have to go one step further to go get to that now. So I can catch myself, because it became such a knee-jerk reaction. I've got 15 seconds to kill, I'll go check to see what the update is. And literally it was that bad. So now I've just removed myself from that, and so now I can start to focus a little bit better. And if I find myself with that knee-jerk reaction to go out and see what's going on, I can say, oh wait, slow down, hold up. I can just relax for a bit here and stay focused on what I'm doing.
All right, I thought this next one was interesting, which is why I picked it. So the question is, do people all over the world laugh at the same things? Explain your answer. Jeez.
Madam Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, does everybody around the world laugh at the same thing? No. Not even everybody in my family laughs at the same thing. So why would I expect that the whole world is going to laugh? My husband and my son and my daughter seem to have a little bit off-key sense of humor. They think the strangest things are just hilarious. And they can poke fun at almost any comment you say. Before I got into Toastmasters, I learned how to talk properly because otherwise you get tramped on at home. Everything you say that's wrong, they catch it and they tell you about it. See, you think before you speak, which is probably a good thing, but another thing is each culture has a different thing that they find humorous or not. That's another reason why we don't all laugh at the same thing. I come from a more of a German, Scandinavian background, but I have a sister-in-law who's Norwegian, and you don't call her a Norwegian because that's terrible for some reason. So everybody has their own little quirks and their own little idiosyncrasies that keep us from all laughing at the same thing. However, you do need to be tenacious, and if you find something funny, go for it. Madam Table Topic.
We will now move into the evaluation portion of our meeting. Chris, would you like to come up and lead us?
Yes, we are doing very well on time, so we'll be able to have some good evaluations here, and then at the end of it, we're going to try also, as we mentioned earlier, get the officer installation taken care of, so that's going to be a little bit extra at the end there as well. So still keep on track with your evaluations. So to begin things, we will call up Elizabeth, so please welcome Elizabeth to evaluate Rafa's speech.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and especially Carafa. What an honor. Carafa came pretty much without a manual, had a funny story, and determined that he wanted to practice and take this opportunity. If I would have been you, I would probably have declined. It's easy to do. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have a manual. So I applaud you for taking the opportunity, even if you didn't have a manual or a fully prepared speech.
And it is a process that obviously works very well for you. There is probably the only thing that I would say is sometimes tone down a little bit, because it is wonderful to watch how your speeches involve the whole room, involves everybody. And I will say that, you know, as your evaluator, I didn't hear my name. So that, here, I'm gonna lose a finger right here. So that is something that I would have improved upon. So, no, but in all seriousness, I love hearing about how everybody's minds work. I love hearing how everybody gathers their information, because nobody has the same process, and everything being how we evolve and how we grow, it is a little bit of everybody. We pick and choose the best of what we see, and that is something that comes through very clearly in Amit's speeches. He has found those people that are crazier than the rest, but they are very, very good at what they do, and it shows in his efforts. And I applaud you and thank you very much for sharing your process.
Excellent evaluation. I love this. We're doing great today. I think it's good. We'll keep the evaluation of the whole meeting till the end. But now to help me with the evaluation process, we've evaluated the speeches. Let's evaluate everybody just with the complete idea of it, starting with the grammarian. So if you could help me welcome Tanya up to give our grammarian report.
Thank you very much. General evaluator, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and again, most distinguished guest, Jean Pearson, who has been doing our officers training. So I'm just going to take a plug before I go on. Jean, I would like to tell you that our club is going to get the Magnificent Seven because we have all been trained by you already this summer. So thank you very much for training. All right, that being said, I am the grammarian today, and I heard Amy, Carafa, Amit, Jean, and Chris L. use the word tenacious. Did I miss any? All right. What I did not hear today is ahs and ums and likes and so's. I heard one so, but it seemed appropriate for the sentence. It wasn't a filler. It wasn't a long, drawn-out so. I heard a like from Chris, but you were doing a comparison, so that would be appropriate. I heard some very colorful words, and I loved Carafa's speech about Angela because I have a husband who's as crazy for soccer as you are. He's not an Arsenal fan, he's a Juventus fan. But again, if it's 6 in the morning and his team is on, he's in the den, and the only thing he's drinking is espresso. So I could envision this whole scenario. And I heard you talk that poor Angela desperately needed to go to the water park, or she was going to likely to die. I'm sure of it. I understood precisely what you were saying. And I could picture how evil of you to give her your friend's phone number or a 6 a.m. police call. I was just waiting to hear that he answered the phone and what he would say, Mon Dieu, zut alors. So, you know, that speech, you could actually you gave us some great guts and bones, but there are some colorful, I think what Elizabeth was alluding to is there are some opportunities for the sensation of cafe, her pleading eyes, the gut. There's some, you could give us a lot more taste and feel and sensation in there once you know, because that's just lovely. That is lovely. Okay, so now Amit. Amit gave us a Venn diagram, an air Venn diagram. Okay. So there was the passion and knowledge, and I was so busy writing down, I missed the last one. Passion, knowledge, and
Interest.
relating to the crowd. Oh, something I need to do better at. All right. So, Amit, stuffed tomato. I don't need a stuffed tomato to excite me. And he pointed right at Joe. I'm like, well, Joe. Right? Knocks you off the railing. Oh, I don't want to be, changes your way. Topics hanging all over. I'm just walking, I'm picturing him walking around that, what's that plaza in between Gonda and Mayo. Anderson? No,
Annandale.
Annandale. I'm thinking just topics hanging all over. Did something change your way of thinking? A flurry of activity. You may have used that before, but I love a flurry of activity. And then Jean, wow, welcome. Off-key sense of humor. Very nice. Poke fun. Tramped on at home. My daughter is a biomedical engineer, and she's also what we call her the grammar Nazi. So you better not make any mistakes at our house. So Let's see, I think that's it for all the colorful language. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
All right, and now our stand-in timer who jumped in right at the beginning. If you could help me welcome Ash to the front of the room so that he can
Okay, here is the timer report. Carafa requested 5 to 7 minutes. Took 4 minutes, 40 seconds. Amit requested 6 to 8 minutes. Took 9 minutes, 10 seconds. Amy, 1 minute, 52 seconds. Chris, 2 minutes, 2 seconds. Our chief guest, Jean, 1 minute, 34 seconds. And the evaluators, Elizabeth, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Chris, 2 minutes, 58 seconds.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent. You're doing a good job today, so I'm going to invite up Elizabeth, and you are going to do the officer, what did we call it, installation here. So please help me welcome Elizabeth to the podium.
Hello, Toastmasters. This is the time where we say goodbye and hello to our club's officers. To start with, I would like to ask the outgoing officers to please stand up. Chris, Amy, Anya, Ash, and Amit. Fellow officers, it has been an honor and a pleasure working with you for the past year. There are many behind the scenes activities that is not everybody is aware of. It's not really evident, but I am truly very proud to have worked with you, and I thank you individually. I appreciate the great effort of making and keeping Mayo High Nooners such a great club. As your term has ended, you are discharged from all further duties and responsibilities as officers of Mayo High Nooners. With that, I would ask Chris to sit down, but everybody else, you stay up because you are the coming up. And now, the incoming officers, could you please come forward? Ash? Great. I am here to install the new officers of Mayo High Nooners. Your main objectives are to keep our club strong, to mentor and help all members to become effective speakers. I will ask each one of you to hold the gavel or gable? Gavel. Thank you. Gavel, gavel. I don't remember that one. As a symbol of leadership, as I briefly describe your duties, starting with Chris. Chris, as Sergeant of Arms, you are responsible for the club property management. Sorry, I had to put that. You are also responsible for the meeting room preparation and hospitality. Chris, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you, Chris. Ash, the treasurer is responsible for the club finances, including collecting centennial member dues and disbursing costs, such as the payment of membership dues to international. You will keep accurate records and will provide financial reports to this club and to the club officers upon request. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you. Tanya, Your responsibilities as secretary include maintaining club records, such as the charter, constitution, and bylaws. You will also maintain records of Mayo High Miners membership and submit updates as needed to Toastmasters International. Would you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Thank you, Tanya. Tanya is representing Jenny, who's not here, so. Tanya, on behalf of Jenny, as the VP of Public Relations, you are responsible for developing and directing a program that informs members and the general public about Toastmasters International and Mayo High Miners. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Jenny responds that she will.
Thank you, Jenny. Ahmed, your responsibilities as VP of membership include ensuring club membership growth and retention. You did it last year, I'm sure you will do it again. Will you perform these duties to the best of your ability? Haley, the VP of Education is the second ranking club officers and Amy's right hand. If she is not here, you're responsible for the club's education program and meeting the educational needs of the individual club members. Would you perform these duties to the best of your ability? I will. Thank you. Toastmaster Amy Roberts. As the new president of Mayo High Miners, you are the club's chief executive officer and expected to preside at all club meetings and at all regular and special meetings of your executive committee. It is your duty to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It is also your duty to see that the club helps the area, division, district, and Toastmasters International to meet their goals. Please accept this gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to office. The gavel is a symbol of the power and authority given to you by the membership of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of your team as well as a leader. Work with your team members to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone is going to be proud. Will you, as president, Amy Roberts, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your abilities?
I will.
It is now my pleasure to declare these Toastmasters installed into the offices to which they have been elected. And now I will ask all club members to stand up. The growth and development of the Toastmaster program and Mayo High Miners depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor as men and women of Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and work with it throughout the upcoming year? Thank you, and please welcome your new officers officially.
Good job, everybody.
You did very well on time, so don't everybody be running off on me here. I still got an evaluation. We gotta wrap up the Toastmaster.
I gotta run a meeting.
No worries leaving. All right, well, everybody did a great job.
I'm here.
I thought it was, okay, let's just talk about that. I thought it was like a meta meeting, where it was a meeting, it was kind of like about Toastmasters, you know, even we had with Karafa's speech, he was talking about how to apply where he's using his Toastmaster skills through it. And I thought everybody did a great job with it. I'm gonna give a few points to improve upon, because I always tell people if you're going to do an evaluation, you better be improving on something. I would mention, the one thing that I was noticing with Karafa's, and I don't know if you brought it up, with the fact that he mentioned Arsenal, he just mentioned Arsenal. And so if you don't know soccer, you don't know the relation, or you don't even know that he was watching a soccer game, right? So that was one thing that I was going to pull out of his speech. With Amit, the one thing that I was going to mention, and I think I wrote it on your card as well, you let in with a little less emotion because you were being told to do something by Joe, and so I think if you either played it down, so you were like, you know, kind of like it was pulling you down, or kept that emotion, that would be one of the two ways you could play it. And then on evaluations, we had a great evaluation. I thought you did a good job of mentioning the fact that that he was coming in and he was giving this speech outside of the book. And I was trying to think, I had something for you to improve on with that too. I forgot what it was. Son of a, I will tell you what it is. And so then, and with Chris, with your evaluation, again, excellent job on taking. I had like one point that I could write down for Amit to improve upon, because he's doing a really good job of covering all these things as we mentioned them. But one thing that I was going to mention for your evaluation, you mentioned the fact that, in my opinion, or the one that, and so the qualifier there to try and remove some of the harshness of it, you used it once, and so I was just going to say, pull that out. That's one of those things that, in my opinion, of course it is because you're saying it. So that's being very picky. That was the one thing I was going to mention there. Otherwise, I thought it was a great meeting. Everybody was keeping to their time, doing a good job with it, and it shows, because now we're ending up a little bit early, and we even added in the extra stuff. So I think everybody did a great job, and I appreciate everybody showing up. So I'll turn it back over to the Toastmaster.
One last comment, Ash, thank you for stepping in the timer role very last second as you came in the room today. With that, we'll close the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
I have one comment I would like to make, and that is this fall, October 31st and November 1st, we are having the fall conference right here in Rochester. We will have, he is currently the first vice president candidate, but by October he will be the first vice president. His name is Mike Starkey, he's from Australia, and he will be visiting us. He is, of course, Toastmasters International, one of their top leaders. So we're trying to get as many people excited and fired up to come and enjoy the conference when you don't have to drive for a couple hours to get to the States. So please, it's going to be held at the DoubleTree downtown.
When?
October 31st and November 1st. And registration is already available online.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to make it to August 20th because I have a soccer party at my house. So